We are back live. Drop a 1 in the chat if you enjoyed our pre-recorded session with Katie Day. Katie is a wealth of knowledge. Sharran, who's here with me now, I love that you dropped in there and you're like, Katie is just pure content, or whatever it was that you said.
She's nonstop, man. Like wherever you go, whatever you do, like it takes a lot of courage to be nonstop, right? And I actually think that, so there's a great quote. I often talk to my friends Alex and Layla Hermosi about this one story, which is, can you do one thing? Can you put so many reps into one thing that it's impossible to suck? Can you put so many reps into one thing that is impossible? And there is like, there's a way to door knock and do so much of it that is impossible to suck. There's a way to cold call that is impossible to suck. There's a way to do so much video that is impossible to suck. And I think that most of us just have a weird minimum standard in place that, oh yeah, I can only do 20 or 25. Like I'll give you a 10-second story around this. My friend Jason Capital, who's been my business partner for a long time, he told me that when TikTok started, he was doing 10 videos a day on TikTok, 10, right? And I asked him why. He goes, well, how else should I test the platform? And it breaks these barriers of minimum standards for us, because we're like, oh, I'll just dip my toe and I'll see if one video works. I'll repost what I'm already posting to see if I get traction. Then I'll go build something else. But being relentless and just saying, hey, how can I increase my output so much that it's impossible to suck is a pretty amazing transformation.
Yeah, when you're talking about video specifically too, there's something about having the at-bats, like just as you're going, you're going to stumble over a word. And when you've done it 100 times, you know how to like get back to level. Whereas if you're a novice at it, it could throw off your entire video. And you just end the video and now you can't think anymore. Like you saw, I don't know if you saw this part, Katie had her dog like interrupt the thing. I think I kind of zoomed through it, and then she left and came back like 30 seconds later. And it took like a quick second and she was like right back to where she was. And it was like, that's like a skill, like legit skill that she's probably just honed over a long time.
Yeah, it's reps, man. I mean, it's like increase your reps so much that it's just impossible to suck.
For sure. Okay, so you just snuck in here, but guys, if you're watching this and you don't know who we're talking to close out Kickoff 2023, this is Sharran Srivatsaa, and Sharran is the president of Real Broker. But I've known Sharran for probably 6, 7, 8 years, because Sharran, you're here in Southern California. I think you're up in Orange County now, but you had founded Telus Properties, which was a big brokerage here in San Diego as well. And then you ended up selling that brokerage, you grew it, and then you sold it to Douglas Elliman, which is how Douglas Elliman got into the San Diego market here. And then in the meantime, you went off and you started consulting, and now you're back in the role of president at Real Broker. But if you guys don't follow Sharran, I've said it before on my Instagram, he is the smartest man in real estate. He knows, like, we'll get like halfway through this conversation, he's going to drop some nugget about listing presentations and not walking through the house first, and you're gonna be like, holy crap. So Sharran, please, if someone's watching, they don't know who you are, I know I gave a little bit of a bio, introduce yourself, and then we're gonna jump right into this.
Yeah, man. So thank you. First off, it's super great to be with you. And it's very hard. People don't know how long and how much effort and how much time it takes to put together a series like this. So first, thank you for doing that. You don't have to do this. You don't have to offer the value. You don't have to share it. So you doing this allows us a platform to show up and share and give. And so I appreciate that a lot. A lot of my background has been in 3 big buckets. I spent a bunch of time in the technology world. I was a computer science and math major in college, so I spent time in the technology world, built and sold a technology business. So raised money, grew it, sold a technology business, so I exactly know how that works. Then I was an investment banker on Wall Street at Goldman Sachs and Credit Suisse, so know how the Wall Street stuff worked. I took a couple of companies public, and that was a cool experience. We rolled up a bunch of property management companies and sold it to Blackstone, so I had done that. And then we invested in this small company called Telus in Southern California, grew that from 1 office to 22 offices and sold it to Douglas Elliman, which was an awesome opportunity for all of us. But my love in all of this is I love the craft. I love the time. I love the focus of what an agent does day to day. And I think that there is a big disconnect between the, hey, here are big pie in the sky ideas of what a leader or a principal or a coach or whatever should do, but I think they're disconnected from what happens day to day. And I think this is going to, like, I'll give you this one story. Yesterday, I went on an $11 million listing appointment in Orange County with a real agent, right? And I don't think that there is a lot of company executives that get a chance to actually see what agents do on a day-to-day basis inside a living room.
Right.
And it was it was an awesome experience because one, we're going to get like, we got a yes on getting this $10 million thing, which I'm super excited about. I'm glad it was here and I got to go on this appointment. But tactically speaking, I know what agents are feeling day to day. I know when agents get the question like, hey, I'm talking to Jason and Jim and Jack and Sharran, like, why should we work with you? I know that when we get the price objection of, oh, they said it was worth 12, you're saying it's 11, you know, I don't think you believe in my property, or some version of that. You know, and every single seller or buyer is been coached both in videos online or in articles that they read that commission is negotiable, because it is actually written in the contract that the commission is negotiable. So I see the day-to-day pain. And so the craft of how an agent works day-to-day is so important to me for this one thing, Jason, because until like when you get paid, people don't realize that we all don't make a paycheck on the 15th and the 30th of every month, right? When we get paid and that paycheck hits, that is 7 to 9 months of stuff that happened. That was like Jason doing a video, then doing a geographic farming ad, then having a home valuation, then actually stopping by and inviting them to an open house, then doing a tour, then recommending a contractor, then telling them not to do the pool, then actually helping them with their kids at school, connect with someone else, then actually saying, hey, if you do this, I can do that. And then doing 3 listing appointments, then adjusting their fees, and then giving a credit back, and finally close 9 months later.
Yep.
And the craft of that, no one understands. And I salute agents for putting so much on the line to actually knowing that they believe in themselves and they can serve clients, because all of that stuff that happens, nobody sees behind the scenes. And that is what I'm in love with, man.
Yeah, for sure. What you get to work with a lot of agents now, but I'm not even just saying in your role as president of Real. I mean, obviously you will tell us, and you've done consulting, you partner with some of the biggest brokerages in the nation. What's one thing you're seeing right now from a macro perspective that you're telling your agents to get ready for or to expect in this coming year?
Yeah, a big part of this, and you and I talked about this briefly, is I think that we're moving, I'll give you 2 parts of the answer. We're moving from what was a momentum-based market where the market was determining how things moved. And so as people are like, I need to move, I need to do things, the market is moving faster than we could even provide advice. And it was a very momentum-based market, and the folks that had the deep relationships won in that market. But I really think we're moving into a skills-based market where how we advise our clients, and people always forget this, right? They're like, oh, it's about service. We're forgetting our job. Our job is literally to provide advice and perspective. Now, how that advice and perspective shakes out is different, but a client is hiring us for advice and perspective, because if they had the advice and the perspective, they would not need us in any way. Yes, we are the implementation of the advice and perspective as well in our world. And so the biggest shift that I'm seeing that I'm offering a lot of agents to agents right now from a skill is not to provide solutions, but to provide options.
Yeah.
Not to provide solutions, but so when we see I want to buy this home, but I can't afford it. Well, I tell the clients this, hey, a lot of times it's not buying a $700,000 home. You're not buying a home, you're buying a monthly payment. So let's actually walk you through what that monthly payment involves. And so you can buy home A, which is it's $700,000, but the monthly payment is $3,000, or you can buy home B, which is $725,000, but it looks like the monthly payment is $370,000, $3,000 plus another $775. So can you make that $75 work, or can I work on getting you a buy down? Can I work on other options? Now, Jason is not forcing them into a solution. We are actually presenting them and helping them navigate options. And I think 2023 is the world or the season of options for us. And the agent that is able to present better options to clients will be seen as the advisor of choice.
You said something in there, and I want to jump into that because I have some questions for you. But the way you said, can I work on, or can I work? Is that specific scripting that you think we should be saying? I think I'm onto something there, but what do you mean when you say, can I work?
So whenever we, so great meta catch there. Whenever we offer our clients activity on our part, they have automatically hired us to do the work, right? So if you said, hey, can I work on the 3 ways in which we can launch your property? And if they say yes, they've automatically hired you. They can't say no to you after that. So a lot of times, and that also leaves us with homework, which allows them to feel like when you're done with that call, they're like, oh my gosh, Jason's so nice. he's going to go work on something and come back to me with that, right? Can I work on is a real good language pattern because it allows us to take responsibility, but allows them to reduce stress as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'm implementing this right now. I don't know, like, if drop a 5 in the chat if that just jumped out at you, because I just made a note as we were sitting there. Just the little 3-word phrase right there means so much when you're talking to someone and conveying your worth and what you're going to do for them. You know, a lot of 5s in the chat. I like that. Okay, so you've had the ability now to work with some of the best agents in the country. You partnered with No Secret, right? You partnered with Dean Aguilar, some big 100-person teams. What are 1 or 2 things that you think that real estate agents are doing, that the top real estate agents are doing, that maybe the average real estate agent isn't?
Yeah. The first thing that immediately jumps out is a consistent cadence work on their skills. And I think that we have been, no one has been taught how to role play well. And here, if we've all seen a role play scenario, and when I see like a big Zoom calls with, oh, let's role play and let me be the tough role play person. Like, that's not like, I was a investment banker at Goldman. There were 30 people in my Goldman class. We were the top MBAs in the country. They only hired 30 people that year. And I would have to go up, in front of the classroom in our training program with a managing partner and actually role play. But the role play was not a really long role play. What they did was they sectioned off pieces of the role play so you can get mastery of the modules, right? Mastery of the modules is important, not the mastery of the conversation. We think that we need to have this perfect conversation and orchestrate that conversation. You don't need that. You need mastery of the modules, because when a topic comes up and you have mastery of the module, something really fun happens. So I'll give you an example, right? So a lot of the big teams that I advise have are Zillow Flex partners, right? And the teams that I advise have significantly higher CSAT scores and Zillow Flex scores than anyone else, because they do this one thing every single day for 15 minutes a day. Every single one of them practice the handoff on Flex. So for those of you who are not aware of Flex, what happens is a consumer spends 4 to 10 minutes on a site. They actually click on a button. They talk to a Zillow rep. Zillow rep then says, okay, Jason is my, my Flex partner in San Diego. They transfer to Jason with the 3 people on the call, the client, the rep, and Jason. That handoff is weird. So because there's 3 people. So if you don't script and orchestrate and practice that handoff really well, it gets really messy. So for example, the scripting or the skill on that goes like this. It says, if Jason is the client, it'd be like, hey, Jason, thank you so much. I know you've already been waiting for 3 to 5 minutes and Zillow has transferred you. That is acknowledging that they've already been waiting, right? And so that's instantly right there. And then you say, looks like you're looking at 123 Main Street. Is that right? Yes. Now you've gotten both corroboration that they've been waiting and the property that they're looking at. Normally, when my clients call me about a particular property, I offer them 2 things. It's about questions that they have and when they want to go see it. So let me ask you the same thing that I would ask my top clients. What questions do you have? And when would you like to go see it? That needs to be perfect every single time. You don't need to objection handle after. You don't need to figure out how to set appointments. You don't need to do any of that. If you can't get that first 19 seconds right, everything else will break. So the best teams practice in modules. And when they get their modules right, their scripting confidence goes through the roof.
So this is going to be a little bit of an offshoot to that question, but because we just had Siri Rowell on as well. She has a Zillow Flex account. I know you partner with Dean, right? I think Dean has a Zillow Flex account. Zillow Flex, for those, we talked about it a little bit. There's 114 people on live right now. There's a 99% chance you're not going to be able to get a Zillow Flex account. They're either tapped out in the market already, or your team's not big enough if you're a solo agent or whatever. So what is it that these people watching right now can implement in 2023? Is there a specific marketing channel that they can put time and effort into in order to grow their business aside from Zillow Flex? Because I don't know that what you said is absolutely essential for people who are taking online leads to be able to role play the skills. What would you say that the #1 thing now that someone could do to grow their business in 2023 would be? Besides
So there's a lot. So let's run through a couple of ideas, right? And we'll make it tactical. So the one thing that I love that I think every single person should do is to make cold calls, but you shouldn't make the calls. I'll say it again.
Explain that one.
You make cold calls, but you shouldn't make the calls. And here's what I mean. What I mean is when we call people, so if I, Sharran, the agent, am calling somebody, they instantly are like, wait a minute, he's going to sell me something. So there's a strange power dynamic that's at play where I'm going to get the phone slammed in my face. What I often offer is you want to have someone else make the calls for you, and I'll actually tell you how that process works in a second. But I'm a big fan of a circle prospecting in a way in which if it's a neighborhood that you would like to sell in, or something that you've sold in before, or you think there was an anchor sale that happened, to call around it. So I love the piggyback strategy is what I call it, where somebody can actually say, all right, a home down the corner from us sold for a record price. How can I use that news to see what activity exists in a lot of ways? So the easiest way to do it is I actually worked with a VA company to create this thing called a 10-hour virtual assistant. It's probably it's so basic, Jason, but it's the funnest thing that I've ever done, because a lot of times agents will say, well, I need to go find a person to call. I need to find an ISA. They're going to call outbound. Where do I find them? I don't have enough leads for them for 40 hours a week. I think a 10-hour VA is super powerful. And essentially, this is all they do. They call and say, hey, so-and-so, my name is Sharran, and I'm calling on behalf of Jason Cassity at Real right here in San Diego. Jason asked me to give you a call because, right? And so we call that the middleman frame. I, Sharran, am the middleman, and no one wants to shoot the messenger, because now they're like, oh, wait a minute, Jason has to give you a call. I wonder what Sharran has to say. So you actually have a good rapport-based conversation there. And the conversation is really simple. Hey, Jason asked me to give you a call because a home around the corner from you actually sold and hit a record price. Did you know about that? They'll probably say no. And then you can say, hey, it'll take me 10 seconds. Let me just tell you about it. 1, 2, 3. Now you are the purveyor of the information, and Jason didn't have to make the call. Sharran made it on his behalf, right?
The middleman frame.
The middleman frame, right? The cool part there is now when you now if you're doing content, if they see your ads, if you're getting mailers, all of that, they'll be like, oh, wait a minute. Somebody from Jason's team called me, man, he's all over the place. Because now what it does from a modality perspective, audio, as in hearing from somebody, visual, as in seeing you on social, print, as in seeing you tactile in their mailbox, etc. Now it all starts to bleed together. You don't have to do all of that. If all we did, I believe that every single person should get a 10-hour VA. It's 10hourva.com. By the way, if you're interested, my friend set it up. Also, I gave them all my scripts. So literally you can say, hey, can you just train this VA with Sharran scripts and have them call, because they're ready to go. And a 10-hour VA, you can always scale up and scale down. But there's only 2 ways, though, to grow your business scalably. Number one, because you're adding more people in the pipeline, right? So number one, you can scale via outbound, because you can count the calls that you're doing and you can scale via outbound. Or number 2, you can run paid traffic to get inbound. There is no other way. And when people tell me that they can, oh, I'm going to scale my referral strategy, like you can't. It's just, you cannot scale infinitely, right? So you either, if you want to scale infinitely, you either need to have some kind of inbound around how new leads are coming into your world and then nurturing them, or you need a very specific outbound strategy. And I think every single agent in 2023, if they want to succeed, should hire a 10-hour VA, and they should just circle prospect all day long.
Yeah, you're not the first. I mean, Jimmy, on our first speaker, actually talked about the importance of an ISA in your business, and having somebody to call both the incoming leads that are coming in, but then also just circle dialing, farming, in your geographic farm. Siri talked about it as well. Obviously, she's on Zillow Flex, so she has a whole ISA department in her company. There was a question in the chat. How do you organize the lists that you give to the VA, or like, where do you get the lists that you give to the VA?
Yeah, I think there's there's based on the market that you're in, there's several kind of list services. I don't know if you use them. There is cold realty resources and things like that, where you can put a zip code in and it'll just drop. You can download all the lists from there, and then you can
or Red X,
Vulcan 7, etc. Yeah, once you download it, you upload it into a dialer. But here's the best part: when you hire a VA we need to hire a VA that has dialing experience, right? That can take a script and hire a VA and do that. How I actually train them is I actually get on Zoom with them. I have them shut off their camera, and I'm like, hey, just read your script to me. So I get them to practice with the camera off. I just want that, in modular mastery, right? I just want the modular mastery. And Jason, in one day, they will have modular mastery, and they can start calling the second day. Because if all they need is to have a conversation and then your calendar link, that's all they need. And if you have somebody call 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, you're just going to wake up to so much more love, so many like random appointments that you never thought of. And here's the crazy part. Please, please, please don't think of this as a getting come list me calls. That's not what this is generating. What this is generating is just generating the first inquiry where someone is willing to engage in a dialogue. So if someone wants to book a 10-15 minute call with Jason, now they are 10 times more likely to work with Jason than if they had not scheduled that 10-15 minute call. So we want to just fill our calendars with only the people that want to talk to us and not get completely rejected, because you actually have a better shot with the middleman frame than it is if you want to make all the calls.
Yeah.
So for the folks that are thinking, oh, I'm good at this, I want to make the calls, that's fine. You will have poorer results that you doing it than have someone else doing it. So I'm giving you the gift of saying that please don't do it. Have someone else do it for you.
You mentioned really quickly in there referrals, and so as agents, referrals are fantastic, right? Past client referrals are fantastic. Do you have a process in place around referrals, whether that be from past clients or from other agents? It's something that, because you made a really good point, and my business is almost exclusively referral, but I can't turn the knob. I can't make someone move to San Diego. I'm only available when they are coming to so that they think of me. But how do you turn the knob a little bit? How do you make sure that you're the person that people call?
Yeah, so I was in fact, just so everybody know, like Jason and I were talking about this, I'm actually building this presentation that I actually have in very draft stages. And Jason, I'm going to try to share my screen a little bit. I'm building this, and I want to call this the first one, which is satisfaction does not drive referrals. It's a really foundational thing to think about. And here's what I mean by that. We think that, oh, I took care of Sharran's family really well, and since Sharran is going to be satisfied with me, he will naturally refer me. Nobody wakes up in the morning thinking, oh, how do I send Jason referrals today? Nobody does that, right? Now, what needs to happen is for us to understand why this is a problem. And I think philosophically, if you can understand just this one thing, it really helps. And so I'm going to give you like a quick diagram. This was my way of thinking about it. So you have called this the 10% here and 10% here. And these are going to be the 10% of people. You can see my screen, right, Jason?
Yep.
These are the 10% of people that are very transactional. And they're just going to do a transaction and then they're done. Meaning this is a no. You're never going to get referrals from 10% of your people. Just know that. You're never going to get any referrals from a client base. You're never going to get any referrals from 10% of your people. It's just not going to happen.
Totally. Yeah. Maybe they're a seller. They got of state.
Exactly right.
Yeah, gotcha.
Exactly right. The other 10% on the other end of the corner, these people love you, right? These are great. These are raving fans. And these are people that have either done more stuff with you. They love you so much. It works great. Awesome. You don't have to coach them. But in the middle, this is what I call this 80%. I call this the swamp of satisfaction. Right? And what happens here is they love you. They worked with you. They get it. They're fans of you. They will work with you again, but they won't refer you for one reason. They don't know how. They just don't know how. And all referrals happen in conversation, right? And so what we need to do is we need to actually show you this. We need to find a way where we can get people to, in conversation, think of us. So Jason, if you were my client, I want to program you in some way where I can say, hey, when X happens, then do Y. So I would say something like, hey, Jason, next time you're at a cocktail party or a dinner and someone mentions buying a home in San Diego, could you please do me a favor? Now you're like, okay, cool. So now programmatically, you're now hanging out and chatting with Dan Parker, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about buying a home. Now hey, Sharran told me when someone is thinking about buying a home, I should do something. Now, what is that something? What is that why? Until we tell our clients, hey, when X happens, do Y, they don't know what to do. But if we tell our clients, hey, if you know anybody that's thinking about buying or selling, let me know, bad. Because that is not in their line of conversation. We need to make the programmatic stuff very specific. Hey, if you're in a conversation and if someone is talking about buying a home in San Diego, can you please do me a favor? Now, what is the favor is an important question, right? The favor is they don't want to do something which is hard for them to do. And I call this think about them as a referral source, not your sales force. They're a referral source, not your sales force. We think a referral source is more important. So what we want to do is we want to create a no friction transfer. So I want to be able to say, hey, Jason, whenever you're in a conversation and someone brings up buying a home in San Diego, could you just do me one favor? It's actually totally free, and I don't want them to feel stressed out anyway. I have a book called Jason's Guide to Buying a Home in San Diego.com. Just send them there. It's my free book. I give it to all my private clients. And as long as they get it, I think it'll put them in a good place. So every single one of us should have something, some artifact like that. So if we told them, what's going to happen is, oh, there it is, the buyer's guide. Exactly right.
So
exactly.
By the way, and if you're a solo agent, right, because this is brokerage agnostic. So most brokerages offer some sort of buyer's guide. You can probably find it in their marketing center. You can also go to Etsy and just buy Canva templates. And there's like 20-page, 30-page buyer guides, and you just go and put your own pictures in there. And then it's got like a, frequently asked questions, a glossary. Just buy that for 20 bucks and have your own buyer's guide that you can save as a PDF for this exact reason. You can hyperlink it to a URL. You can just have it as a high gloss thing to give away, right? So you can give it to your people. But your brokerage probably has a templated one. Go to Etsy and just buy a Canva template of like a 20-page buyer guide. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's perfect. And by the way, if you want to stand this thing up with the least amount of work, my suggestion would be to build something like 7 things you need to do before you buy a home in San Diego, right? Hey, just go San Diego homebuying-secrets.com or something like that, which is easy to remember, right? Which all San Diego home selling secrets, all of us you should get that, by the way. But the key part there is it needs to be 2 to 3 words that are strung together so that Jason now knows, oh my gosh, I'm in a conversation. Hey, he had the conversation. Dan's talking about buying a home. Hey, Dan, I was just talking to my friend Sharran, who sells real estate here. Nice part is you don't even have to talk to him. He wrote this thing about 7 things that people need to do before they buy a home in San Diego. Here, let me give you the link right now. Let me text it to you. Now you text the opt-in link. And the cool part is Sharran now knows the only people downloading stuff from the link are the ones that are referred. So I can reach back out and say, hey, thank you so much for downloading this. I'm pretty sure one of my friends kind of introduced you to me. Who was it so I can thank them? Now there's a way to start this conversation. The problem is referral is really hard because now if Jason has to refer Dan to me, that's weird. It's strange. It's like, oh, Sharran's going to do the sales page. He's going to make him do stuff. That gets really, really strange. What we want to do is we want to create this open army of referrals where people start to opt in your world and you get the perfect opt-ins every single time. So it's way easier to program people to say, when this conversation comes up, teach them this so that you are not involved in this referral process whatsoever.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that too. And I know I kind of deviated there on purpose because we were texting ahead of time, but so as we finished up, I kind of just want to keep going, but we're technically at our time, but as we finished up here, I want to ask you 1 or 2 things that you're not marketing channels per se, but if that is the answer, then what are 1 or 2 marketing channels that you're focusing your time or you're telling your agents to focus their time in on 2023? So far, we've heard email marketing is really important. We've heard YouTube, like longer form content, a little bit about Instagram and short form, but what's your take on that?
Yeah, really, really powerful. So I'll give you a broader answer and then a tactical answer. The broader answer is you want to think about this one concept, which my team came up with, not me, called time on brand. Time on brand. And time on brand is something that is so powerful because the longer people spend on your brand, the deeper they get connected to you. So when people say, oh, do video, you can do that. But we also don't know if someone's going to sit and watch a 22-minute YouTube video. So what my team is doing now is they're trying to orchestrate how to get people more time on brand. And how we define this is, if Jason gets an email, that is 1 minute. If he gets a text message, we count it as 1 minute. If they listen to a podcast, that's 22 minutes. If they watch a short, that's 60 seconds. What we found, and my team did a study, we found that after 47 minutes of time on brand, on Sharran brand, they are completely indoctrinated. Now, the key is how fast can you get this 47 minutes? Because the longer it delays, you have decay of how long that they've spent with you. So if you are thinking about doing an email newsletter every other week, you are dramatically mistaken. I'm telling you right now, it does not work. Yeah. It's too few and far between for this one reason. The average consumer gets 97 to 99 emails in their inbox. If you do it every other week, you're 1 out of 1,500 messages. Yep. It will never work, right? Yep. So my strategy would often be like, hey, how could I get more time on brand ideas? Meaning, if I got some social time on brand, I'm a big email fan because email is still a serious platform. And so when I call email the slow scroll. Social is the fast scroll, but email is the slow scroll. None of us fast scroll through our email. Yeah. We see the name, we see the subject line, we click it, we open it up. We also open email one at a time. We don't look at posts one at a time. We look at posts and scroll. Yeah. Anytime I can slow the scroll, I feel like I'm getting higher time on brand. And that's why I like email personally. So, and you can, platform algorithms will change, but no one can take your email list away. And so since email is one slow scroll and people have to read it individually, it forces us to write better email. And I think that's really powerful. The skill that we can develop is, can I write better email? But I'm bullish in 2023 about creating more tangible cadence of email content, because that forces us people to see us on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, and then hopefully come deeper with us on email. And then if we can get to like 2-3 emails a week, which feels like a lot for a lot of people, just so everyone knows, I was writing an email a day for 3 to 4 years. Yeah. And so, you actually will get fewer opt-ins because people are just conditioned to expecting a Jason Cassity email every day. Yeah, you may get some opt-in, opt-outs early on, but after that, they'll just stay with you. So I'm over-indexing on email in 2023.
That's so funny so who I consider, and I've said this on Instagram, as the two smartest people in real estate, Jimmy Mackin and Sharran Srivatsaa, both said 2 emails a week, basically. And I brought it up to Jimmy and I was like, Jimmy, a lot of people are sending 1 or 2 emails a month and you're asking us to do 2 a week. And he's like, yes, absolutely. And ultimately, like, if you have the content to put into it, like, that's the best open rates. That's the best, like you said, time on brand engagement, absolutely 2 emails a week. And you just said kind of the same thing, you know what I mean? And so that's funny that I'm hearing that from both of you. That's great advice. Parting words, we're 5 minutes over and I want to be respectful of your time. First of all, guys, if you got anything from Sharran, please, I see the comments coming through, drop a 5 in the chat. And please go follow Sharran Srivatsaa on Facebook, on Instagram. The chat's going wild. Sharran, what's one parting thing you want to leave these kickoff 2023 with as we head out?
You see, we are in a people business. It's very easy to get sucked into, I need to do this activity, I need to be on this platform, I need to count my views, I need to do that. But I have a friend who is a real estate agent in Laguna Beach, California, who does not have a business card, who does not have a website, who's never marketed ever, right? And he will every single year do $100 million or more off market, right? Every single year. And I always wonder what that is. And he does this with 7 to 9, like 10 people or less, who are his core referral connector sphere sources overall, because we are in a trusted belly to belly personal relationship. And so please I would offer the fact that know that our best clients come from our best clients, and each of them are people. So the more you can infuse your relationships with presence and love and care, you would be shocked that will beat every single marketing strategy out there.
I love it, man. What a way to end this call off. Sharran, thank you so much for taking time out of your day for Kickoff 2023. Guys, if you're still watching this, go follow Sharran Srivatsaa on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever you can find him, because this guy's a wealth of knowledge. Sharran, thank you so much for jumping on the call with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, of course. Thanks for having me.
Cool. I'll talk to you later. Guys, thank you so much for attending Kickoff 2023. It was an honor to be here to host this and moderate this. I'm going to end this call, and then I'm going to upload onto YouTube the entire 3-hour session. I'm going to take the YouTube link. I'm going to send it out to all the registrations or all the register. I don't know what the word is, to all the registrants, so that you guys can have the the recording of this entire session. If you guys found it useful, if there's any feedback, please, drop a Instagram story. I'll retweet it or reshare it, because that's where I see most of the stuff. I really appreciate you guys. I hope that we all crush it in 2023. The agent community, I feel like, is more important than ever. And so, seeding each other, feeding off each other, sharing best practices. That's how we're going to win in this market. I hope you guys found something super useful. Enjoy the rest of your day. Love you guys. Peace.